One housing, 4 cameras, no moving parts. That's why multi-sensor cameras have become the answer for so many wide area deployments. But they're also one of the most misunderstood camera types on the market. I'm Marty. I spec surveillance for a living. 4 things where a multi-sensor wins: when it's the wrong tool, the 20 megapixel myth that trips up almost everyone, and the specs and placement that decide whether it earns its price. A multi-sensor is exactly what it sounds like. Several camera heads in one housing, each with its own lens and imager, each aimed independently. One mount, one cable, one IP address on your network. And because every head records continuously, it holds the entire scene at full resolution, all the time. No moving parts to wear out, and nothing it has to turn to see. And that's the difference people miss. A PTZ is always making a decision about where to look. Zoom into one corner, and everything else goes unwatched. A multi-sensor never has to choose what to look at. It records all of it at once. Put simply, a PTZ can investigate. A multi-sensor can document. So one unit covers an intersection, a parking lot, a building corner, or a wide retail floor, doing the job of 3 or 4 fixed cameras on a single cable run in a single mount. So, when is it the wrong call? On a single choke point, one door, one hallway, one lane. There, a multi-sensor is overkill. A single fixed dome does the job for a fraction of the cost. You're paying for coverage you'll never use. It's also not a reach tool, and it's not a chase tool. To watch far down one line, a driveway, a fence, that's a bullet. To actively follow and zoom on a moving target, that's a PTZ. A multi-sensor sees everything in its area, but it's fixed. It can't push in the way a PTZ can. Now, the number that fools almost everyone. Many buyers see 20 megapixels on the spec sheet and assume they've got 20 megapixels everywhere. That's not how these cameras work. Each sensor has its own lens and its own imager. So a 20 megapixel multi-sensor is usually 4, 5 megapixel sensors. Those 4 don't combine into one 20 megapixel image. They produce 4 independent 5 megapixel streams, so spec the number that actually matters. Resolution per sensor. 20 megapixels split 4 ways is a completely different camera than 20 megapixels on a single imager. When you're deciding whether you'll recognize a face on one approach, only the pixels on that one sensor count. The other 3 are looking somewhere else entirely, and each head still obeys the same rule every camera does. Detail comes from pixel density on the target. A wide head covering a whole lot will detect a person at the far edge, but get nowhere near identifying them. More sensors cover more ground. They don't rewrite the physics. Put the pixels where the target will be. One more distinction that changes what you buy: panoramic versus multi-directional. A panoramic stitches its heads into one seamless, continuous view of a single scene. A multi-directional keeps them independent, separate cameras aimed at separate scenes. One covers a single wide space, the other covers several directions at once. Pick by the space, and if you need a true single lens panorama, that's a fisheye, its own guide down the line. On specs, start with resolution per sensor, always. Then plan for the part nobody mentions on the sheet. Expect storage, bandwidth, and recording requirements to scale roughly with the number of active sensors. How roughly depends on your frame rate, codec, and recording profile. And check licensing carefully. Many recorders count a multi-sensor as multiple channels, and some platforms license each sensor separately. Confirm your channel count and your license before it ships, not after. Reach and detail still come from the lens, the sensor, and pixel density on each head, never the housing. So be honest per sensor about what you'll identify versus what you'll only detect. A multi-sensor doesn't get you out of that math. It just makes you do it 4 times. Outdoors, spec IP66, and where the camera's within reach, an IK-rated Vandal housing. And pay attention to wide dynamic range. A multi-sensor on a corner often has one head staring into the sun, while another sits in shade in the very same moment. WDR matters more here, not less. And here's the single best habit for installing one. Treat each sensor as its own camera. Don't think about the housing. Think about what each lens is responsible for seeing. Aim each head down its own lane with deliberate overlap, so there's no seam of dead space between views. And remember, every head has its own infrared. Keep each one thrown into open space, off the nearby walls and eaves, or you'll bloom one view while the others look fine. When you're not sure, fall back on the 5 questions that outlast every spec sheet. What outcome do you need? What are the lighting conditions? How far away is the target? What level of detail do you need? And what environment are you protecting? Answer those honestly, and the right camera, multi-sensor or not, picks itself. Deciding between a multi-sensor, a fixed dome, a PTZ, a bullet, or a fisheye? Our buying guides and comparison tools will get you there. Or send us your layout and we'll look at it with you. Links are below. Because a multi-sensor isn't 4 cameras pretending to be one. It's 4 carefully aimed viewpoints working together. Use it where continuous coverage matters, and it's one of the smartest tools in surveillance. I'm Marty. Build something that actually works.